Hello, and welcome to our relationship series. Episode 1: Your Relationship with the Self. It's not by accident that as we get older, our minds filter out the unnecessary noise and we begin to hear ourselves more clearly. This could be nature's way of helping us into our age of wisdom, a time in our lives when we are impartial, compassionate, rational, tolerant, and knowledge sharing. Unfortunately, many of us don't give ourselves the time and space to sit in peace and just listen to what we're saying to ourselves. So often these internal conversations turn negative and hurtful without us even realizing it. If someone else spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, you would probably consider it abusive and degrading. If that someone was a friend of yours, what would you say to them? And if they continued to insult you, how long would you allow them to remain in your life? Rebecca's story, Part 2. Heading towards her third decade, Rebecca started becoming more aware of the subtle messages trickling into her consciousness. These messages came from a variety of sources: a book on the library shelf, a flippant remark from a colleague, the lyrics of a song, or even a direct challenging question from a friend. Rebecca realized that these messages had been there all along, but until now they just sounded like noise. So Rebecca decided to pay attention to these messages and take note of what they were saying to her. Once Rebecca had started listening to these messages, they became much clearer to her. Some messages still came from external sources, as they had done before, but now she was hearing the messages in her mind. It wasn't that she was going mad, but rather that she was becoming aware that we have all the answers we need within us. For example, Rebecca had decided that she wanted to be less judgmental about those around her, but particularly about herself. As soon as she'd made that decision, any thoughts of judgment resonated back to her far louder than it had left her mind originally. Rebecca knew that she had to take ownership of these judgmental thoughts and do something to change them. Rebecca decided to work on forgiving herself first and foremost for having been so judgmental towards others and for judging herself even more harshly. She wasn't quite sure how she was going to accomplish this task, but instead of waiting, she made a start by talking to herself positively. When she found her thoughts wandering into bad habit territory, she would yank them back swiftly and remind herself that other people's business was not hers to criticize. The coaching approach: understanding your thoughts. Firstly, what would help Rebecca break the habit of judging herself and others? Congratulating herself for being open to growth, to the awareness of her thoughts and behaviors, and realizing that they are not serving her, or contemplating what her life might look like without judgment and how she would then feel. Then what? A coach would work with Rebecca to understand where the judgment came from and why, and support Rebecca to raise her energy levels so she can start to feel more compassionate for herself and others. If you've had similar life experiences to Rebecca, or you resonate with how Rebecca feels, where would you like to begin your coaching journey? Please feel free to reach out to Terry to to see how coaching can help you with whatever it is you are experiencing.